The Vancouver Canucks just passed on Ivar Stenberg to draft the coach's son in Stephen Ellis's latest 2026 mock draft. The rebuild takes a massive turn as Vancouver selects not one, but two powerhouse centers. But here's the thing. This isn't just one expert's opinion anymore. With multiple mock drafts now projecting Caleb Malhotra to Vancouver at third overall, we have to ask, is it inevitable? We're diving into this mock draft to see if the Canucks just won the draft or if they made a massive mistake by going with two centers with their top two picks in this year's draft. Let's dive right into it. Now, as you can see from the image here, this is the image version of the mock draft. We are actually going to take a look at the list itself on Daily Faceoff. But here's the image, 1 through 8. Gavin McKenna goes first overall to the Toronto Maple Leafs. That is what a lot of people are expecting and projecting. Chase Reed goes second overall to the San Jose Sharks. We've talked about on this channel that the San Jose Sharks need a defenseman, and Chase Reed is right there. And of course, as we just mentioned, the Vancouver Canucks take Caleb Malhotra at third overall. They pass on Ivar Stenberg, as do the San Jose Sharks. And then speaking of Stenberg, he goes fourth overall to the Chicago Blackhawks to go and play with Connor Bedard. At fifth overall, you have the Rangers taking Carson Karels. And then you have Keaton Verhoeven sliding down to sixth, going to the Calgary Flames. Vigo Bjork, who at some point was actually ranked higher than Caleb Malhotra, goes seventh to the Seattle Kraken. And then to round out the top 8, Albert Smits goes to the Winnipeg Jets. Now let's move into our 9 through 16. At 9, you have Wyatt Cullen going to the Florida Panthers. Tynan Lawrence going to the Nashville Predators at 10th overall. Daxon Rudolph, who's seen in the photo there, going to the St. Louis Blues at 11th overall. Then you have the New Jersey Devils going with Ethan Belchitz at 12th. The New York Islanders go with Oscar Hemming at 13th. Malt Gustafson goes to the Blue Jackets at 14th. Ryan Lynn goes to the St. Louis Blues at 15th. Alexander Command goes to the Washington Capitals at 16th. Now, this mock draft is just the first round, so the first 32 picks. Let's continue. Going from 17th to 24th, Nikita Klepov goes 17th overall to the LA Kings. Xavier Villeneuve goes 18th overall to the Washington Capitals. Elton Hermanson goes 19th to the Utah Mammoth. Adam Golgier goes 20th overall to the San Jose Sharks. Oliver Suvanto goes 21st overall to the Philadelphia Flyers. Adam Novotny goes 22nd overall to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Then you have Mathis Preston going 23rd overall to the Boston Bruins. And as I mentioned off the top, the Vancouver Canucks select Ilia Morozov at 24th overall, another center and a Russian. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about the Canucks potentially picking Morozov with that 24th overall pick. Moving on now. We go from 25th to 32nd. William Hackinson is 25th overall to the Seattle Kraken. JP Hurlburt goes 26th overall to the New York Rangers. Jack Hextall goes 27th overall to the Buffalo Sabres. Tommy Belile goes 28th overall to the Montreal Canadiens. Brooks Rogowski goes 29th overall to the St. Louis Blues. And then this one actually kind of surprised me. Liam Rock goes 30th overall to the Calgary Flames. And as we all know, the Flames have back-to-back picks in the second round. They could very well easily get Marcus Rock if they choose to do so. Going 31st overall is Gleb Pugachev. Apologies if I mispronounced that. To the Carolina Hurricanes. And then Maddox Dejanay goes 32nd overall to the Ottawa Senators to round out the first round. Now, I mentioned that we actually have the actual list here. These were just, of course, simply the images that I thought were pretty cool to put up, just so you guys can get an actual look. But here's the actual article from Stephen Ellis himself, of course, draft expert for Daily Faceoff. And this is exactly what he says. We're only a few weeks away from the 2026 NHL draft in Buffalo, and the rumor mill is in full force. Over the next 20 plus days, you're going to hear a boatload of rumblings about what a team may or may not do. For the most part, what you're hearing is bogus. Info will leak. Actually, let me, before I continue, make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you guys can actually read along if you guys choose to do so. Info will leak, people will talk, and a lot of the time it will be smoke and mirrors, such as San Jose taking Anton Frundell at number 2 last year. It's fun for everyone, of course, to think about, but don't read too much into the draft rumbling, you hear over the next few weeks. There is one piece that could shake up mock drafts, though. Vancouver's hiring of Manny Malhotra as their head coach. While Caleb Malhotra still makes a ton of sense at number 3, you have to wonder if they'd want to put that type of pressure on their newest top prospect. The Canucks are reportedly very high on him, and rightfully so. I just wonder if that connection makes a little less sense now than it did, say, a week ago. Of course, we talked about in one of our more recent videos that there is, some internal discourse with the Canucks, and they're torn between 3 different prospects at number 3, that being, Caleb, Ivar Stenberg, and Keaton Verhoff. If you guys haven't checked that video out, you guys can go ahead and check that video out. I'll have a link to it up above here. You guys can click on that. But of course, he obviously talks about, putting pressure on Caleb with Manny now officially as the head coach. We'll dive into that in just a little bit because he actually talks about that in the section where he talks about Caleb going 3rd overall. And keep this in mind too. Caleb is going to Boston University next year. So we may not actually see Caleb Malhotra in a Canucks jersey for at least maybe 1 to 2 years. So they won't have to deal with that aspect, at least for 1 or 2 years. So we shall see about that. Either way, it's going to be fascinating at the top of the draft. Gavin McKenna is still the projected 1st overall pick, even after Ivar Stenberg's outstanding World Championship. The draft, as always, will start with the 2nd pick, and San Jose seems destined to take a defenseman, something we have harped on a lot on this channel, much to the chagrin of a lot of San Jose Shark fans. After that, all hell will break loose as usual. Getting into the actual mock draft, as we just mentioned, number 1, Gavin McKenna going to the Toronto Maple Leafs, even though I mentioned the fact that Canucks were the only team that took McKenna out to dinner. I still do think that the Leafs would have to be, I don't want to say stupid, but they'd have to be insane not to take McKenna at 1st overall. Then again, you never know. Now, Stephen Ellis's reasons to Stephen Ellis says, I get the reasons to pass on McKenna. Is his B game good enough? But his A game is something no team will want to pass up. He has some of the best hands for my prospect we've seen in years and processes the game at such a high level. He'll be perfect in a top-line role for years to come. I'm not worried about him being a smaller forward either. His build is very similar to that of both Patrick Kane and Nikita Kucherov when they first broke into the league. McKenna can handle the pressure too. He's been in the spotlight for half a decade. Moving to 2nd overall, Chase Reed going to the San Jose Sharks, as we mentioned. If I were San Jose, I'd take Stenberg personally. I get the reasons for passing on him because the Sharks absolutely need a defender. And that's what I still think they'll do, even if I personally prefer Stenberg. Reed's name has been mentioned by a few scouts as a legitimate number 1 pick thanks to his outstanding puck skills and competitive nature. You can argue that the OHL isn't as strong as it once was because the older competition jumped to the NCAA early, but with all the translatable skills, primarily decision-making under pressure, outstanding mobility, and high-end vision, he is definitely the closest to becoming a number 1 defenseman out of anyone. If the Sharks don't see themselves in the Landon DuPont hunt next year, they shouldn't. This is their chance to address their blue line. As we talked about, number 3, Caleb Malhotra. And this is what he says about, Caleb and Manny. I don't like the idea of the team putting the pressure on the coach's son, but scouts have said the same thing over and over again. The Canucks need a stout two-way center to kick off the rebuild. And yes, this is positional need. A lot of people say take BPA, take best player available. and something that I've argued on this channel, perhaps Malhotra is both best player available at number 3, depending on what happens with San Jose. If they see him as the BPA, as I just mentioned, they will do this. Malhotra's steady, smart play has helped him emerge as the number 1 center for this draft. Some would also, of course, argue that Viggo Bjork is the number 1 center in this year's draft. It's not a great group down the middle, but Malhotra looks like a future top 6 threat. He was a huge part of Brantford's success this year, which included 13 goals and 26 points in just 15 playoff games. Malhotra battles hard at both ends, giving opponents little time to make quick heads-up decisions with the puck. Will he have the natural play-driving ability to excel offensively in the NHL? We shall see. Of course, which brings us to the whole Manny Malhotra, Caleb Malhotra debate. Personally, I don't see it as an issue. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys still see it as an issue despite hearing from both Ryan Johnson and Manny Malhotra on, the idea of drafting Caleb? And just some of the things that Manny said, how, he thinks Caleb can differentiate between dad and coach. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys still like the idea of them going with Caleb and Caleb being coached by his father? Perhaps that may have changed after hearing what Manny said. Let me know, as I said, in the comments down below. Let's move on to number 4. Of course, Ivar Stenberg. The Blackhawks would absolutely love this, as would our good buddy Nick. Stenberg is strong with the puck, has a fantastic shot, and might have the second best hockey sense of anyone in the draft behind McKenna's. Stenberg's production fell as the season wore on, but he still had one of the best seasons by a U19 player in recent SHL history. Not to mention, as we mentioned earlier, one heck of a world championship. Stenberg's ceiling might not be as high as McKenna's from an offensive production standpoint, but if you're looking for someone who excels in more facets of the game, Stenberg is the best choice. Number 5, Carson Karels to the New York Rangers. Karels was not only one of the best young defenders in the WHL, but he was one of the best defenders in the entire CHL, period. He's built like a tank and is an absolute powerhouse with the puck. Karels' defensive awareness, two-way skill, and strong physique and high-end hockey sense make him truly special. I think we're talking about a number 2, number 3 defenseman in the NHL, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first or second blue liner taken this year. Lots of scouts see him as a legit candidate to be the first defender off the board instead of Chase Reed, for what it's worth. Number 6, Keaton Verhoff. Verhoff jumped from the WHL to the NCAA this year, and he was productive while playing anywhere in the 16 to 20-minute range on one of the top teams in the country. He takes up a ton of space at 6'4" and is willing to hit you hard while also making many high-end passes in the offensive zone. Scouts wish he'd add a bit more speed to be a true top-pairing defender, though, but there's time for him to figure that out. His slow end of the season has dropped his stock, but that could result in found money for the Flames if Verhoff smooths things out. I still like the upside here. Number 7, we talked about Viggo Bjork. He goes to the Seattle Kraken. Kraken have never taken a defender in the first round, even though they should. I think Daxon Rudolph or Albert Smets would be the best options here, so if they elect to go the center route, why not grab one with tremendous upside? Bjork played first-line minutes to close the SHL season out, which is incredible given he was 17 for most of the year. He impressed at the World Juniors, much like Stenberg did, and was one of my favorite players at the World Championships. He might be small, but he's not afraid of physical play and is a wizard with the puck. Number 8, Albert Smets. If Smets is available, the Jets should absolutely target him. Smets was a big part of Latvia's World Junior and Olympic teams this season. The 6'3" blue liner moves well for his size and makes so much happen with the puck. It's always nice seeing an 18-year-old who plays with a ton of confidence on the power play. He also has plenty of pro experience under his belt, highlighted by a strong first half with Jukurit in the Finnish Liga before joining Munchen to finish the DEL campaign. You don't find someone in Euro Pro Leagues who plays between 18 to 20 minutes as a draft-eligible defender often, but Smets impressed. Number 9, Wyatt Cullen to the Florida Panthers. Most expect Florida to be back in playoff contention next year, so landing a pick this high is a total freebie. Cullen is one of the smarter wingers in this draft class. Some scouts think there's legit potential for Cullen to go in the top 5. He was USA's top player throughout the U18 World Championship thanks to his high-end hockey sense ability to get the whole American attack moving. His puck handling, both as a shooter and a passer, is remarkable. Cullen is a high-end skater who seemingly found another gear once he got up to speed this season. Cullen is a constant scoring threat because he's always scanning lanes for passes, but he has the quick footwork and lateral mobility to blow by most opponents and put himself into dangerous areas. Number 10, Tynan Lawrence to the Nashville Predators. A disappointing college tenure mixed in with a lackluster U18s definitely didn't help Lawrence's stock. He was once viewed as a legitimate candidate to go first overall like 4 months ago. The good news, he really found his game near the end of the NCAA season and should play a leading role with BU next year, potentially battling it out with Caleb Malhotra. He's an aggressive forward who boasts high-end hockey IQ. There's still a lot to love about his game, but he'll need to have a huge season in college to really win back scouts. For now, he's a high-risk, high-reward pick, but one the Preds should absolutely consider at this point. Number 11, Daxon Rudolph to the St. Louis Blues. Rudolph could go as high as 5th this year. I think it's a toss-up as to whether Rudolph or Smits goes first among the pair. In particular, Rudolph has a booming shot, makes great breakout passes, and can knock guys down. Rudolph's two-way game is intriguing, as is his ability to get himself out of trouble consistently with and without the puck. I think there's still work to be done to make him more aggressive in the D zone. He's a bit too passive for some scouts' liking, but with the puck, Rudolph should become a top 4 threat who can play on one of the power play units. Number 12, Ethan Belchitz to the New Jersey Devils. The Devils could use a massive power forward who can handle the physical game while pummeling shots on net. I call Belchitz the chaos conductor because he uses his 6'5" frame to push his way into scoring lanes, and few defenders know how to handle that. Not sure he's quick enough to be as big of a difference maker as I'd hope, but I still see top 6 potential here. Plus, I don't think Belchitz will have a hard time winning fans over with his playstyle. Number 13, to the New York Islanders, Oscar Hemming. After missing the first half of the season due to a contract dispute with his Finnish club, Hemming came out swinging with Boston College. He had a pair of assists in just his second game and even had a nice 4-point run during a 3-game stretch. But after finishing with just 2 points in his final 11 games, it was a difficult end for a guy many scouts still really like. At his best, the 6'4" forward is an absolute menace who can beat you with size, speed, and skill. The raw potential is there, but he was forced to play some heavy catch-up to make up for lost time. I think a full year of college will do him wonders, and I still see some top 6 potential. Number 14, Columbus Blue Jackets select Malt Gustafsson. Teams took notice of Gustafsson's hot U18s, and it's hard to believe he'll fall out of the top 15 on draft day now. Gustafsson is a 6'4" defender who played well in the SHL despite having little to show for it on the scoresheet. His skating is good for his size, allowing him to play a very mobile game. Gustafsson rarely struggles to get the puck out of his zone. A lack of flash and high-end offensive instinct likely won't help his stock to the average fan. But you still need guys who can kill plays, and that's exactly what he does, quite effectively, I might add. Number 15, to the St. Louis Blues, via the Detroit Red Wings goes Ryan Lynn of the Vancouver Giants. Of note, the Blues are one of the few teams with a chance to land the Ruck Twins. Will they? Maybe Liam goes off the board here. We'll see. But I really like Lynn, who's coming off a solid showing at the U18s. While Lynn is small, he's definitely one of the most skilled defenders in this class. His decision-making is near the top, and he has the skating to burn guys. You put those together, and it's easy to understand why Lynn has the puck so often. I think he still has a few things to work on, but I believe in Lynn's game enough to think the team that takes him will have a fan favorite on its hands. Coming in at number 16, to the Washington Capitals, Alexander Command. Capitals have no shortage of wingers in the system, so it feels like Command would be a nice pickup here. Command isn't flashy, but he has all the makings of a reliable all-situation center in the NHL. His floor is very high. He fits an archetype that succeeds quite frequently. He's a smart, solid two-way center who makes everyone around him better. He doesn't seem to have many off shifts, and that's because he's effective away from the puck. Command can contribute offensively, but also will win faceoffs, block shots, and make moves with intent. I've liked him internationally, and he has played quite well against his own age group. I think he can be a truly fantastic number 2 center. Going 17th, Nikita Klepov to the LA Kings. Klepov is a stout shooter and wasn't far off from reaching the 40-goal barrier this season. It was a bit surprising to see how hot he started, given he only put up 31 points in the USHL the year prior. But once he showed how consistent he could be, scouts became believers. The Michigan State University commit plays with a ton of finesse, but he's physically strong too. He's just an okay skater, but that'll improve with time. Number 18, to the Washington Capitals via the Anaheim Ducks, Xavier Villeneuve. I'm a Villeneuve fan. I think the Caps are too. Villeneuve was one of the best defensemen at the 2025 U18 World Championships, helping Canada win gold. He had 62 points last season in the Q and would have surpassed that this year if he hadn't missed about 25 games due to injury. Villeneuve can drive the play from the point and is as good as anyone in this draft class on the man advantage. His confidence is remarkable, too. The Caps could use extra defensive depth, and this feels like a nice bet high choice. Number 19, to the Utah Mammoth, Elton Hermanson. The Mammoth could use another winger who can score goals in that system. Hermanson loves generating offense. The 12 points at the U18s are a perfect example of that. He put up solid numbers in the second-tier Swedish league this year, which isn't easy to do. From an offensive standpoint, there's a lot to love, especially on the power play. His game away from the puck is just okay at best. Feels like he isn't as impactful as he needs to be when he's not piling shots on net. I want to see more urgency when attacking opponents to regain possession, though. Number 20, San Jose Sharks select Adam Gaudreau. The Sharks might as well double down on a defender here. Sure, Reed's a fantastic pick, but they still need more depth regardless. I've been a Gaudreau fan for a few years now, and it feels like his U18 World Championship performance has helped his stock. He's raw, but that's fine because there's some solid upside. At 6'3", he has size. He also plays with a ton of confidence, allowing him to consistently attack and defend strongly against older competition in the top Slovak league. Playing close to 20 minutes a night against men is no small feat for a 17-year-old, no matter the league. Coming at number 21, Philadelphia Flyers select Oliver Suvanto. Flyers love drafting big dudes, and the 6'3" Suvanto would be a good fit. Suvanto spent most of the season playing against men in Tappara, where he's shown he can play a reliable two-way game. I wish we saw him put up better numbers against junior-age players, though still I really like his play away from the puck, and I thought he looked solid at the World Juniors in a variety of roles. I think we're talking about a big middle six guy here, but I want him to find another gear offensively. Coming at number 22, Pittsburgh Penguins select Adam Novotny. Novotny would be a stellar pick here. He's a rugged forward with an excellent shot, something we saw plenty of times with Peterborough. Novotny surpassed the 30-goal mark as an OHL rookie with Peterborough and easily finished as the Pete's number one scorer. Novotny loves to get the puck on net by any means necessary, and he's a strong skater too. I like his two-way work. He's a full-time team player. I see a solid middle six scoring threat here. Going 23rd overall to the Boston Bruins, Mathis Preston. Preston's strong showing at the U18s helped boost his stock in a big way. He finished with 6 points in 5 games. While being one of the team's top all-round offensive threats, he was a puck possession machine, and he consistently got the puck into high-danger areas. Preston is an undeniably talented player who could become a top 6 threat down the line. Preston has a remarkable shot and often wastes no time firing in the back of the net from the slot. His shot looks NHL ready right now. 24th overall, as we mentioned earlier, Vancouver Canucks via the Minnesota Wild select Ilia Morozov from Miami University. Morozov was the youngest player in college hockey, but you couldn't tell with how often Miami relied on him this year. At 6'3" and more than 200 pounds, he's a big center who commands respect. He puts up solid numbers on a team that didn't have a ton of big-time firepower to work with. I also like his confidence and the way he's always looking to make a pass, even through traffic. Morozov doesn't have as much offensive upside as some others around this point, but his game away from the puck mixed in with his overall power intrigues me. 25th overall to the Seattle Kraken via the Tampa Bay Lightning, they select William Hackinson. Hackinson would be a solid pick here, especially with few other quality options around this point. He is flashy? Absolutely not. Can he kill plays? You bet, and that's what matters. He uses his big 6'4", 207-pound frame to flatten opponents, while being a pain in the rear end defensively. Hackinson is quite mobile for his frame too. I have little concern about his D-zone play or his ability to be a decent penalty killer. I wouldn't personally take him this high, but it fills a need for the Kraken. 26th overall to the New York Rangers via the Dallas Stars is J.P. Hurlburt. No CHL rookie was as lethal as Hurlburt this year. He recorded 42 goals and 97 points with Kamloops. He's an exceptionally skilled forward who at one point was so far ahead in the WHL scoring race that nobody was in the same area code. The University of Michigan commit has a great one-touch shot that he routinely unleashes on the power play. He's also an exceptionally smart puck mover who has very little difficulty getting where it needs to be against players his own age. My two preseason concerns, his play away from the puck and his lack of high-end speed, remain issues. Still, the Rangers have a good opportunity to bet high on talent here. 27th overall, the Buffalo Sabres select Jack Hextall. Taking a center here would make any potential offseason trades a bit easier to swallow. For what it's worth, scouts love Hextall. Hextall won't be a play driver in the NHL, but he'll be a reliable support player instead. He was no stranger to dominant performances in the USHL this year, showcasing a dynamic skill set with an endless motor. That's what I love about his game. He can play a variety of roles while being effective. He has a good shot, but he's even better as a setup guy. On the power play, he doesn't waste much time blasting shots past goalies. I also think he got better physically as the season wore on. 28th overall to the Montreal Canadiens, Tommy Bleal. Bleal is a highly skilled two-way defender who came out of nowhere to register 81 points as a QMJHL rookie. He's exceptionally crafty, skates very well, and doesn't let bigger competition bother him. Bleal plays a calm, collected game defensively while consistently getting himself into scoring lanes in the other zone. Right now, he needs to get stronger. He gets pushed around too often, especially in front of the net, but his mobility and raw hockey sense are definitely there. 29th overall to the St. Louis Blues via the Colorado Avalanche. They select Brooks Rogowski. The Blues keep this pick. I could see them taking a chance on Rogowski, one of the biggest forwards in the draft. Thought he was great at the U18s in a fourth line role. I feel like he was enough of a pain in the rear end doing that. At 6'7", he's obviously got size, but I also appreciated how well he hustled at both ends, chasing pucks and breaking up plays. He's a smart forward who uses his big frame to win battles, but he also has a good shot and isn't afraid to launch it from anywhere in an attempt to surprise the goaltender. Rogowski won't be a big-time offensive threat, but as a supporting player, he has a ton of tools to make him useful potentially as a middle six forward. 30th overall to the Calgary Flames via the Vegas Golden Knights. They select Liam Ruck. I think the Flames would be absolutely floored if they could get Ruck here, mostly because they'd be in a perfect spot to snag Marcus with their early second rounder. He led all draft eligibles out of the WHL with 45 goals, showing some incredible chemistry with his twin brother. Ruck is extremely dangerous around the net with a variety of quality shot choices at his disposal. The Flames have reportedly shown heavy interest in the Rucks, and I think fans will come to like them. 31st overall to the Carolina Hurricanes, Gleb Pugachev. The Hurricanes love to scout in Europe, and Pugachev is definitely someone who could earn some love around here. Pugachev is a big 6'3" forward who played well against men even in limited action. He can physically dominate his own age group, and he has done so this year without getting himself into too much trouble. Pugachev plays a solid two-way game and won't stop moving even if he doesn't have high-end top speed yet. If Pugachev can find another level to his offensive game, he'll be a huge get. Man, that name really throws me off. 32nd overall. Lastly, Ottawa Senators select Maddox Desjardins. The Sens didn't originally expect to get their pick back, so I like the idea of them swinging on upside. A lot of Desjardins' power forward tendencies come from his bigger frame, but he's far more than that. He's a decent skater who battles so hard to win every individual puck battle. Desjardins also loves to keep the puck on his stick. Thanks to his pure muscle, Desjardins is a possession machine, rarely giving the puck up on the rush. Desjardins has a good shot release, but tends to choose less than ideal locations to fire it off. He would be the second center taken by the Flames this year. He played the wing at the U18s, but one worth targeting for a middle six spot. So that is the end of the mock draft Ellis's latest mock draft. Once again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this mock draft from Daily Faceoff's Stephen Ellis? I'm not sure if this is his last mock draft before the draft, but obviously, others will have mock drafts out there. I'm actually going to probably do a video on Cam Robinson's latest, I don't know if it's a mock draft or draft rankings, but he has a list, and I'm probably going to do a video on that because I find it's quite interesting, especially with where he has the Ruck twins. He has, I believe, Liam at 24th overall instead of Morozov, and he has Marcus Ruck at 33rd overall. In his rank, again, I don't know if it's rankings, in his list, which just so happened to be both Canucks selections. So once again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you guys enjoyed this mock draft and this video, on your way out, you can like the video and subscribe to the Line Change for more Canucks and draft related content. You can also become a member of the Line Change by hitting that join button, where you receive exclusive perks, early access to videos such as like this one. I'm also planning on doing some behind the scenes stuff so you guys can see how I make my videos, thumbnails, etc. So go ahead and hit that join button if you are interested in these perks. But before I sign off, I'm going to give a big shout out and thank you to our friends over at DraftKings, like I always do. And as I always say, DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. When the ice gets coldest, the best players in the world show you exactly who they are. Playoff warriors turn it up round by round, and DraftKings turns it up with them from the first round all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Bet player props, bet live from the opening faceoff to the final horn. Every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.